How to create a website with the 2025 theme from WordPress? Let's get started. So it's a new year, a new flagship theme, the 2025 theme, to go along with the 2024 theme, the 2023 theme, the 2022 theme, so on and so forth. Check the links in the description if you want to check out those tutorial videos for the other WordPress flagship themes. Anyways, I hope you're having a great day. My name is David, and I'm going to walk you through step by step how to create a very compelling website with the 2025 theme. This theme is truly a blank slate WordPress theme. When you go ahead and install it, you're going to be quite unimpressed. You're going to be like, this is it? Like, yeah, this is it. It is a blank slate theme, which allows for a high level of customization via blocks. So even if you don't know how to code, you can really build out a great looking website. And I'm going to show you how to do exactly that. So in this tutorial video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know to get started. I'm going to show you how to custom design your homepage, how to create blog posts, edit and adjust your footer, your header. Also show you how to properly structure your blog posts and organize everything in categories and just all those little details that you need to know. So anyways, if you're ready to get started, check the links in the description for timestamps and resources mentioned in this video. So let's get started. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to design this type of website. So I'm going to guide you, and you can kind of create and design your own site based on what I'm showing you how to do. So for example, we're going to start with building out a nice big offer section at the very top of the website with a specific call to action to do something, how to add in a button to your menu item at the top right here, how to build out the homepage with different sections, and how to customize and edit these different sections, how to add in blog posts to your homepage, how to add in a final call to action at the bottom of your site right above the footer, how to customize the footer itself with different links and colors and designs, as well as how to build out your blog roll page to make it a little bit more interesting and useful for the end visitor, and how to customize your individual blog posts. So you want to have a call to action at the very top sitting on every single blog post. I'm going to show you how to do that, as well as how to build out a nice single column design with different blocks, or go for an alternative layout where you have the title at the top right here and a nice left-hand sidebar and the content over here. And I will also show you how to build out a contact page and how to secure this contact page with captcha. Anyways, let's get started. Welcome to my laptop. Let's begin. So step one with creating a website with the 2025 theme from WordPress is to get a domain name. Now you can get your domain name at a web host, but I definitely suggest using a dedicated domain name registrar. I personally use Namecheap simply because you get the best prices long term. Now to get started is very simple. All you have to do is type in the domain name that you want to register right here in the search bar and then click on search. Okay, so let's go ahead and do exactly that. You'll then be taken to a screen that will show you whether or not your domain name is available to register. Now, I definitely suggest getting a .com if this is your first website. So if it's available, go ahead and add to cart and make a purchase. If it's not, then you need to play around with different words and phrases to find a .com that is available to register. Anyways, when you're ready to continue, click on the add to cart button. You'll then be presented with a bunch of upsells. We can ignore all of this. Go ahead and click on the red checkout button. Fantastic. So now we're on our shopping carts page. Now this is why I like a domain name registrar, because you get a very low registration price, low renewal rates, free WHOIS protection, and best of all, you can lock in this low price for up to 10 years in advance, whereas with a web host, you can only do year to year. Anyways, select a certain amount of time that you want to register your domain name for, and then click on confirm order. Once you click on confirm order, you'll need to log into your Namecheap account. If you don't have a Namecheap account, then you'll need to create an account. So go ahead and do exactly that. Create an account. Okay, then you should be on the order review page. So just make sure everything's okay. Look at your domain name registration, the amount of time you're registering the domain name for, the free WHOIS protection. When you're ready to continue, simply click on the Pay Now button and submit payments. Next up, it's time to get a web host for our website. So in this tutorial video, I'm going to be using Bluehost. Now, Bluehost is a recommended web host from the team behind WordPress. They've been recommended by the team behind WordPress for well over a decade. Now, to get started with Bluehost, again, very simple. All you have to do is click on the big yellow Get Started button. What we're going to be doing is buying a shared web hosting account. So a shared hosting account, it's very cheap. It's just a piece of a server, because that's what a web host is. They manage and maintain servers to help keep your website alive and active and available 24/7. Now, you don't need WordPress up top here. That's if you already have an established website and you want a more of a managed experience. We want to keep things simple. we're going to be using a shared hosting account. So go ahead and click on the yellow Get Started button. Now it should take you to this page over here. Build your own website just got easier. Scroll down a little bit, and now we have Basic, Choice Plus, and Online Store. Now it does say Choice Plus is recommended, and I have recommended the Choice Plus plan in the past, but because the Basic plan now allows for 10 websites and it's 40K visitors a month, the Basic plan is more than enough for our needs. So go ahead and click on Choose Plan for the Basic. Then it's going to ask you whether or not you want to register a domain name. So choose your free domain name. Now the asterisk is there for a reason. It's not really free. It's free for the first year. They waived the domain name registration fee. Then each year after that, you have to pay the renewal rates. And at Bluehost, it's over $20 for a .com, whereas your domain name at Namecheap was much more cost effective than that. That's why I like using Namecheap. You could also register it for up to 10 years in advance, whereas a web host like Bluehost, you can only do it year to year. So you're always subject to the whims of Bluehost and any web host changing their domain name renewal rate. So we already got a domain name at Namecheap, so we want to click on this one. I want to use a domain name I already own, and go ahead and type in the domain name that you registered at Namecheap, then click on Use This Domain. You need to do this because every shared hosting account needs a primary domain name on the account. When you're ready, click on Use This Domain. Fantastic. So we have WordPress basic hosting, and we also have this professional email trial. So it's free, but then it's 1 month free. Then we have to, but we don't want this. So just X out of that. And now we have the rest of these options over here where we don't want to add anything in. Now over here, you can register for up to 1 year or 1 year up to 3 years in advance. This is your call. So it's up to you. With Bluehost, you can always upgrade your account later if you build a high traffic website and you need more resources. But personally, I think 1 year is okay. But again, this is your call. Anyways, when you're ready to buy, click on Continue to Checkout. And it's as simple as that. So I'm not going to insult your intelligence and walk you through how to pay for something online. Just enter your payment information, then click on Submit Payment. And once you submit payment, Bluehost will go ahead and set up your account and automatically install WordPress on the primary domain name on the account. So when you're setting up the account, you entered in that domain name that you registered at Namecheap. Well, it now has WordPress installed. That's all you have to do. So you can click on this button to log into WordPress, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so once you click on the Login to WordPress button, you're going to be presented with this screen right here. We can use the AI Site Creator, import a WordPress website, or I'm following a tutorial. You're following a tutorial, so go ahead and click on this button right here. And now you should be looking at your WordPress dashboard where you can create blog posts, pages, change the appearance of your website, and more. Setting up Nameservers for our website. So now we have our hosting account. Now we have a domain name at Namecheap. The next step to do is to map it. So you do that by setting up the correct name server. So like when people visit yourwebsite.com, it's supposed to get the resources from your specific server. How does it know how to do that? We got to set up name servers on the back end. So if we click over here on websites, we're going to see that our site is currently using just a temporary domain name from Bluehost, which is totally fine. Now we click over here for settings. And once we do that, we want to connect a domain name. So let's click on Connect Domain, and you want to enter the domain name that you entered in at Namecheap right here. So let me go ahead and do that and click on Continue. Okay, so now we have the domain name, DNS status, and SSL status. So right now we need to finish the setup. Okay, so now we have the setup over here, and now it's giving us the name servers. So very simple. We have NS1 Bluehost, NS2 Bluehost. So really technical, guys. You got to copy and paste. Okay, so anyways, go back over to your Namecheap account, and you want to click in and manage on the domain name. Click manage when you're looking at your domain name over here. So this is Vloghouse, the domain name I'm going to be using. So we navigate down here to name servers. We have custom DNS over there, so we want that. But right now it's just using general parking domain name, or sorry, general parking DNS. So we just want to update it to this. So let me click over here, copy, and we'll delete that, paste that in, and then click over here, click on copy, and then go ahead and delete that, and then click on paste. NS1, NS2, good. Click on this little tiny green check mark to save everything. And there we go. So DNS server update may take 48 hours to take effect. So it could take 48 hours. Personally, I've never ever seen it take that long. It's usually a few minutes, maybe half an hour max. What I would say at this point in time, go get a cup of coffee. Anyways, just give it a little bit of time for it to propagate, and shortly your website should be properly connected over here, and this should update to your domain name. So the next step, once you have your domain name at Namecheap pointing to your shared hosting account at Bluehost, is to just make sure that the DNS status says pointed. That means you did everything correctly. And now you want to click on the little dots over here, then click on Set as Site URL. And then it should say make your website.com your new WordPress site URL, and you want to click on Confirm. And now it should say pending site URL, which is not a problem. So if we mouse over this, it says the site is currently using a temporary domain name. We're currently setting everything up. Once these steps complete, it will be automatically updated to vloghow.com, which is exactly what we want. So we can begin editing and designing our website right now. WordPress website setup. Let's begin. So we're going to log into our WordPress website, and I'm going to show you a few backend settings that I like to take care of with any brand new site. Now, as you can see over here, the propagation has finished. This took about, I don't know, like 30 minutes. If your site's not yet ready, don't worry, you can still follow along. Propagation will finish. It just takes a little bit of time. Anyways, let's click in over here. And now to log into our site is very simple. Just click on this big Edit WordPress Site button right there. And our dashboard is going to begin loading up right here. And there you go. Simple as that. Now, if you still have that temporary URL up top here, totally fine. It will propagate. It will update. Just be patient. Anyways, so this is powered by Bluehost, and it's kind of integrated with your hosting account. If you like it, you can keep it. So you have like pages and posts, the store, marketplace, performance. You also have this generate a theme with the AI thing if you want to do that. But we're going to be designing with the 2025 theme. So let me go ahead and deactivate this plugin. So we're going to navigate over here, navigate right down there to plugins. And then you want to click on install plugins. So click on that. Now we have a bunch of deactivated plugins. We want to navigate right here to the Bluehost plugin. We want to deactivate this one and continue, skip and deactivate. There we go. Awesome. Okay. So there we go. So we're going to leave it like this. We don't need any active plugins at this time because we want to design our site. Then we're going to be integrating plugins as needed. So let's click back over here to the dashboard. And this is native WordPress. So you have your posts, media, pages, comments, appearance, plugins, users, tools, and settings. Now, the first thing I want to do is navigate over here to users, go to all users, click on your username. And then over here is where you can set your own password, because when you create your site, Bluehost automatically creates your password for you. So maybe you want to set your own password to log in directly to your site. So in order to do that, you just click on set new password. Then you can just put in your new password right here and then just save it. And that's it. So you put in your new password right there. Then you click on this update profile button right there in order to save the new password. Now to log into your site, you have two different ways. You can always just log into Bluehost, then click on this edit WordPress site button. But if you want to log in directly to your site, you can totally do that. So let me go ahead and log out. We're going to leave that. And here we go. So this is the admin page, the WP admin page to log into your site. So for a WordPress site to always log in, really easy. Just go to your url.com, wp-admin, and then this page opens up right here. Then all you do is enter in your username or email and then the password that you just set. Okay, so let me go ahead and log in. And there we go. So that's how you can do it two ways with Bluehost, either through Bluehost's dashboard or directly to your site. Now let's navigate over here to appearance and themes. And you want to make sure that the 2025 theme is activated. If it's not, you have to select it and then activate it. So for example, let's take a look at the 2024. The activate button is right down there. Just click on that to activate that theme. But the 2025 theme is currently active, so there's nothing else to do. So that's how you activate a theme. And if you want to delete these other themes, you totally can. Just click on delete, click OK, then click on this, click on delete, click OK. Then we have the 2025 theme ready to go. The 2025 theme overview. So let me just spend a few minutes and explain how this theme works so you kind of understand from a high level what we're going to be doing. Now let's navigate over here to appearance, then click on editor right there. And this opens up the full site editor. Now, this is our homepage at the time right here. This is just the default layout. Looks all right, but we're going to be customizing this. That's why this theme is great, because it's just a blank slate theme. Over here, you have your navigation, and this controls the menu item up top there. And what this is primarily used for is to create drop downs if you want, so like a drop down menu. Over here, you have your styles, which are your global styles, which are just kind of pre-built color palettes. Obviously, you can customize the colors of everything to your liking. So if I just want this header item to be colored and have this be a white background, whatever, you can totally do that. So I'll show you how that works. But again, styles are just a pre-built thing that you can play around with if you want. Your pages over here, this is just a list of all the pages on your site that are currently published or in draft. Then you have your templates right there. Your templates are quite important, and this is how you customize your website, by creating templates and then customizing the template and then selecting the template to be active for a page. So I'm going to show you how all that works. By default, you have all archives, which is very important because we're going to be creating a blog. So when you publish blog posts, it's organized by categories and tags, and those category tags pages are going to be using the all archive template right here. Then you have your blog home. So your blog home is your blog role, your blog archive page. Your index is just a fallback page when no other template is defined. You have your page no title, which means the H1 title tag is not going to be displayed. So maybe you don't want the H1 title tag because you want to add in blocks and customize a single page a little bit more to have a more unique look if you want. Then right down here, you have your 404 page. That means your not found page. So when people find your 404 page, you should really have like a search bar or something like that so people can kind of find what they're looking for. Next is your page template, and this controls your just pages. So with WordPress, you have pages and you have posts. So pages are just like your about page, contact page. They're your static pages that don't really change, whereas your blog posts are the pieces of content that are organized in a category or tags. Then search results are if people use the search function over here, like you see on the 404 page. This is what the template will look like over here. And then you have your single post, so you're like your individual blog post page. So we're going to be customizing these templates and then activating them for different pages. And to add in new templates over here, we have a bunch of other templates. So the author, date, and tag, and the category, actually, we don't really need this. We don't need these archive pages. We don't need to create these because we have this all archive template already existing, and that will just fulfill that role. Unless there's some reason like you really want to customize your category page, I guess you could activate this template, but I'm not going to. Over here, you have your front page, and so your home page is going to inherit the design of the front page. And when you set a blog page, it's going to inherit the blog home template. So we're going to create two pages, home page, blog page. Blog page inherits this template right here, blog home, and the home page inherits the front page template, which we'll use to customize the home page of the site. Then we have pages over here. So if you want to create a custom about page, a custom looking contact page, a sales page, you can go ahead and do that. And then the single post item has another feature built in where it's like a sidebar and like a little bit more designed. Like if you don't like the way the single post looks over here and you want something that's a little bit more fancy, you can kind of use this single item post and customize this. So you have like two options. Single item post can also be used for individual blog post pages. If there's some reason why you want to customize this one blog post separately from all your other blog posts, that's what this item is used for right there. Then you have a custom template. So you can just create your own template for whatever page or what you want. So if nothing really fits in, you want to create a blank slate, start from scratch, that's what the custom template is for. Setting a blog post page and a home page for our website. So let's get started. Now let's go over here to where it says pages and click on pages. Now we have two pages right now. We have a sample page and we have a privacy policy. To add in a new page to our site, all you do is click on the add new page button right there. And we need two pages. So we need a blog post page that's going to be displaying our blog archive and our homepage for obvious purposes to display the homepage of the site. Now, this theme has this weird thing that constantly pops up with patterns. Just ignore that altogether. So let me type in home page right here. And I'm going to go ahead and publish this page. There we go. And let's navigate back over here, view pages, click on add new page over there. Now the pattern thing will pop up again, X away from that. Then type in blog. Now go ahead and click on publish and publish again. There we go. And now we have our 2 pages. Now we need to set these pages to be the home page and the blog post page. So let's navigate over here to settings. And then you want to click on reading right there. And there we go. So now we want to click over here where it says a static page right there. And we want the home page to be our home page. And the page that's going to be showing all our blog posts, we want that to be obviously the blog page. And then we can change how many blog posts are shown on the blog post page. Right now it's set to 10. Up to you how many you want to show. So I'm just going to leave it at 10. But if you want to change it, you can over here and it will show how many ever you type in whatever number you put over here. Anyways, let's go ahead and click on save changes right there. Great. And now let's go over here to appearance and then let's click in and visit the WordPress full sites editor. Okay, so now we have a homepage right there and we have a blog page, homepage, sample page. So good to go. Now the thing I want to do over here is click on templates. And then I want to click over here to add a new template. Then we want to click over here for front page. And now our front page template has loaded. Now we have a few default styles that we can click into. I would just say be careful with whatever you select over here. So if you select this one over here, it's going to inherit the header style across the site. Over here has this like left-hand sidebar, vertical thing. Personally, I would just skip all this, click on skip at the bottom and start with a blank template over here. Now we need a header. So right now, like our template has nothing. It's completely blank. So click on this little plus sign right there and click on browse all. Now you're going to want to type in header. So click on the search bar right there and type in header, literally type in the word header. And then you're going to see this. Now click over here actually for patterns. There we go. We have header. I selected patterns and then we have a bunch of different styles. So we can click over here for that. We back out of that, or we click over here for this header or this header. You have a wide range of options to choose from. So whatever suits your fancy, I guess, but play around with this, click around. But this one has like the logo centered and the menu centered. Very, very helpful with how things are kind of already built in. I personally like this. I like how this is just kind of laid out at the top right there. I like this hero image in the middle. You can always delete the hero image and just keep this menu item at the top right there. Totally up to you. But let me go ahead and click on save. And there we go. We'll click X away from this. And now we have our front page right here. It has its own custom design. So we can really build out a custom design homepage. Now let me click over here for the welcome page and let's jump into the dashboard. Let's go over here to our pages and then you're just going to see the blog post page is taking the post template and the home page is taking the front page template. So you know that everything is working and that's how you design your site. But anyways, that's how you set up a blog post page and a home page. Customizing the home page for our website. Now we set a home page, we set a blog post page. The home page is inheriting the front page template right here. So to design the home page of our website, all we have to do is click into the front page templates. Now we have this information over here. It could be a little bit confusing if you don't know what's going on. First off, we have the template right there. That just tells you what template you're on. Right over here, you have different design options that you can just click on. I'll add it to the page over here. If you click on block over here, no block is selected. So if you click on a block right there, this is a block. So it has a blue outline. So that's a block and we can customize the design aspects of this. So for example, I can click over there. I can change the overlay. I can change the overlay opacity, filters. I can click on this thing over here, change the layout block right there. If I click on this block individually, we have a couple different items up top there. So we can change the current content position. So we see right here the content position. If I click over there and I click that one right there, I can move the content up. So again, that's just what this feature does right there. Over here, you can align the text. You can apply a duotone filter right there. You can add in a cover if you want. And then you can select parent group and just remove the block, how this all kind of grouped together. And then you can also click over here to replace the background image. So you want to upload your own custom image, and you can click right here to just adjust the size of this if you don't like the way this is looking. So that's how you can kind of adjust the image over here. Now let me go ahead and click on the little dot icon right there. Let's go ahead and delete that. Now I just deleted the image. So if you want to make a reversal of any change you made, you click up top here. So undo, boom. So, or if you want to go back and make the change you just made, there you go. And that is it. It's really that simple with regards to like the items over here. Okay. So every single block has their own custom options over there. So this one's right here, typically adjust the style. This one's like the technical layout details and whatnot. So there you go. Now up top there, we click on this one. You're not going to be using this item right there that much. This is the styles for the entire website. So it's kind of useful for the typography, but that's about it. Because with your typography for your website, you want your like H1, H2, H3 title tags to be one font, your body to be a different font choice, and that's it. So you don't want to get too crazy with having a wildly range of different font styles. Okay, this is really helpful. You can zoom out. I love it. This is so helpful with this theme. This is a brand new feature. Very, very helpful. Zoom out, take a high level look. And what I also like is now we have the little plus sign over there, because this plus sign to add in a pattern appears when you kind of zoom out. So if I click over here, I click on a plus sign, then we can just add in any type of pattern we want. So for example, like if you want to add in your own hero image, you can just do that, drag and drop that, boom, simple as that. And so the same process applies to the image that was kind of added in with the default header. So if I click into this, let's just go here and I click over here, it's like a little bit big. Let's reduce the size of that. And I'm like, well, I don't like how this is over here on the left-hand side. Well, look at that. Click over there and adjust how it's laid out. So click over there, this whole section right there, and we can change like the content direction. And so there you go, play around with that. And that's what this is used for. Now, I'm not going to be using this element right there. I'm going to back out of that. And what I'm going to type in is CTA, call to action. And I just like the way this looks. This looks great. Nice, big, colorful call to action at the very top of the site. And that looks very, very nice. Now, what I want to do though, as well, is I want to kind of blend in the header with the call to action item right there. So how do you adjust that? So we're going to X out over here. We're going to click over here to bring that up again, templates. And we're going to click over here and we're going to kind of select the top header section right here. And now we're going to click over here for block. And now we're going to go over here to background and click on yellow. Okay. Does that make sense? I clicked on the thing right here. I clicked on the header, the thing. I clicked on the header. Then I clicked on block. Then I clicked over here for styles. Then the theme already comes with this yellow color kind of built in. So if you decide to use your own kind of custom color, you're just going to have to remember what the accent code is right there. You also have the option for gradient as well. I'm not going to play around with that, but I'm going to keep it this nice yellow over here. So we have theme over here as well, which is different colors that you can use. Now, if you want to change your own color, you just click on the yellow and then you can just change this whatever you want. Just take note of what this code is right there. But I'm going to keep it yellow. Looks good. Let's click X out of that and let's zoom out. And this is looking good. So we have a nice colorful header section at the top right there with a nice call to action right there with a nice button. And we can just add in sections very easily with this theme. Super simple. Click on the plus sign. Then we have a bunch of patterns you can just add in. So for example, add in that. So this is a nice helpful section where it could be like a little about the website thing. So you have your offer section right there, sign up and get my thing, or buy my book on Amazon or whatever. And then this could be like about the person, like a little bit of bio about the website. Like I always like to call this like a welcome message. The goal over here is like to just establish what the website is about and direct people to the about page. Since 2016, we've been doing XYZ 1, 2, 3 thing for specific clientele. Click here to learn more about us. Whatever, something like that. That's what I'd kind of build out right there. And there you go. So you can just keep on adding in different patterns as you like. And so there's a bunch of different patterns you can play around with. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on banners over here, and let's scroll down ever so slightly right there. Let me go ahead and add in this section right there. So this section is helpful because you can customize the image over there. You can change the links right there. It says event details, but you can change that to something else. So maybe these are like sales pages, like these are links to your sales page, like product 1, product 2, product 3, or resource 1, resource 2, resource 3. Maybe you're like an affiliate marketer for these specific items that you want to direct people to, like whatever, that type of thing. That's why this is helpful right there. Or maybe you just want to create like blog posts. You want to link to specific blog posts. There you go. You just do this here and link to like your best in class content, as I like to call it, whatever. So we can keep on going with this. And if I click over here for call to action right there, navigate down here, and this is a nice little offer section you can kind of set up over here to subscribe to something. Yeah, you have to update the images, obviously, but you can have this be like, hey, maybe you have a Patreon page, or you have a school account, or whatever, or like a teachable website or some type of paid product you want to direct people to. That's what's really helpful right here. And we can also add in blog posts to this site as well. So let's go ahead and type in blog over here. And we have a couple different options right there that you can kind of add in. So I don't like that one, and I don't like that one. And we have this over here, photo blog post. That looks good, but I don't want that there. I want that to be more towards the bottom. Now, it doesn't look like much over here, and you can click on here to shuffle the design if you want. It's just to show different layouts, but I'm going to keep it like this. So this is going to show an image, and the image is going to be linkable to the blog post that you create. Now, at the very bottom of our homepage, maybe like have a final call to action. So maybe a call to action kind of matches this offer at the top right there, have something at the bottom right there. So let me back out of this, and we'll go to like newsletter, type that in, and there we go. We have a nice big yellow stories button, and move that down right there, and very good. So the homepage is coming together very quickly, just clicking on blocks and throwing it in. And that's why this theme's so great, because you can really create a nice looking website very quick and easy. Now, one last thing, we do need a footer for the site. So that's what's missing. So click over here, got to click the box, see the plus sign right there, click on it. Great. Now we can drop a pattern in right there. What do we need? We need a footer. So the two words you need to remember are header and footer. The header is this section up top there. You need to type that in to find your headers. And then you also need to know the word footer. Your footer is the bottom parts of the site. So you have a bunch of different footers over here. Personally, I really like this default footer that comes with the theme layout right here, with the logo right there and different menu items over here. Looks good overall to me. Anyways, that's how you add in blocks and sections to your homepage. So when you're ready, go ahead and click on save. Customizing the homepage for your website. So some pointers and tips. So the goal of this section is just to give you the broad idea from a marketing perspective of how you should be approaching this. Now let's jump over here and jump into the front page template to begin designing. All right, so this is your offer section on a site. The goal of this section is to make a clear and specific offer for the end visitor to do something. You want to prime the end visitor that there's some type of thing that they can take advantage of. That's why we have a big button right there. Now, overall, what I would be doing right here is I would have like a request a quote, consultation, download my cheat sheet, watch my masterclass, direct them to a high quality blog post, whatever it is you want the end user to do. Just make sure you direct them to do something. And next, you do want to customize a couple aspects of this. So this is your title right there. So first off, I would highlight this and make it bold. Do you want this to stand out a little bit more? You don't want it to be too light. And you want to change this from H2 to H1 over here. H1 is because this is your title tag right there. So this should be H1. It's your header tag. Like every page needs an H1 title. And this is your title of this page. So that's why I switch that to H1. And then keep this right here, looks good, but you can play around with the block templates right here, the display, annotation, subtitle, default, whatever you want to do. So up to you to play around with this. Now, one thing with fonts, you want to keep your fonts consistent. You want one font choice to be your H1, H2, H3 title tags, your titles. Then you want another font choice to be your body text and your menu item. Okay, you don't want to like switch up too much. That's when a website starts looking bad. If you need help with like pairing things up, there is a website called Font Pair right there. So Font Pair over here, this will tell you what two fonts go together. So it's fontpair.co. And there you go. So to adjust this right there, subscribe today. So the button over here, I definitely would make this bold as well. And you can change the button size if you want. So we'll click over here for the design right there. And we'll change this to like large, extra large. Makes the button a little bit more prominent and stands out a little bit more. And the text right there should be a call to action text. It shouldn't just be like subscribe today. That's okay, but like it should be download now, buy now, request a quote now, free consultation. Like it should be like a call to action like that right here. So you want to keep this short and sweet, H1 title tag. You want to keep this one sentence. This should be backing up this right there. Okay. Now we have our welcome message right here. So we have two elements right there. We have the image over there, which you do want to obviously update. We don't want the stories book. That's not ours. So we want to update to something else. And we have our H2 title tag right there. The goal of this H2 title tag is to be backing up this over here. So like if this was like, I don't know, corporate accounting for a small business, on average, we save our clients 17% of their tax liability. That would be that statement. Accounting, business accounting made easy, something like that. The title right here should be backing up this statement up top there. And like I said, I would probably break this up so it's not so text heavy. And you can just type whatever you want in. And I'd probably end this off with like, learn more about us. Something like that. And I would have like a very subtle link over here, bold it, link, and then I'd have HTTPS. And I'd link to the about page, which we do need to create. There we go. And have a nice little link to the about page. Learn more about us. Done. Now you have your image over here. How do you switch this out? So what's great about this theme is like the square box over here with this template is kind of pre-formatted and designed. So any size image will fit. So all you want to do is click over here to replace, and I'll open up my media library because I did create a couple different images. So you can just go ahead and like click on select and switch in a new image right there. So you could have like a little bio about yourself right there, like helping people do whatever. And then since 2015, I've been doing XYZ 1, 2, 3 thing, helping specific clients have this tangible outcome. Learn more about me. That's what you want to have with this section right there. Okay. Now we navigate down here. This says events. This is really a flexible section. You can make this like whatever you want. So I would have this maybe like I'd say like helpful guides and tutorials, whatever. And then you can have a tagline underneath that. And then you have right over here. So maybe I would get rid of like the dates there. I don't really need that. But then this could be an explanation, or you could have this be the title and that you link to this specific page. So for example, like this is called vloghow.com. So I could have this maybe be YouTube gear. Let's just say that. Then this could be filming yourself. I don't know, like, or video tips. And finally over here, resources, whatever. Now, if these are going to be little titles that you link to, you want to highlight this over here and bold it again. Click over here. Then your site, then link to the page that you're going to create. So this is going to be like resources, we'll say. And then little tagline, maybe you can explain what resources page is all about if you want, or have this be the link right there. So helpful tools and resources to get you going, whatever, something like that. Now you have the event details there. You can either, again, remove that or keep that, or you can get rid of this and change this to the text, whatever you want to do. So I have this as the title right there. That's clickable. You can also keep this and make this clickable to the same link right there. Totally up to you. And so do that for each one of these items. And obviously same process up top here. You just want to switch out for your own image. So you click over here, you click on replace open media library, and then you want to be consistent with your design. So click on that right there for that one. That looks good. And then we'll click over here for replace, open media library. And we'll click over here for that. Click over here for this one. And I just made these images really quick. Very, very simple and easy. So video tips, or we'll say maybe audio tips. Audio resources. There we go. So this looks quite good. So the design aspect I'm going with this is like, it's not going to be text heavy. Images should be like representative of what you're talking about. That's when you use images on a site. They help represent the thing that you're talking about. You don't just add in things for just decoration purposes. So like this is YouTube gear. The point of the camera right here is just to visually represent that this is YouTube gear, audio resources, and so forth. So we can just highlight each one of these items over there. There we go. So again, I'll show you briefly how to create images, but right now I just want to cover each section individually. And there you go. So that's what I would do over here. I'd probably create like dedicated pages, or maybe you have your own sales pages. Like maybe you have a Teachable website or a Podia website or school or whatever. You want to link to your individual course or Udemy course, whatever. You could do that right here. That's why I like this section. It's very flexible to link to a wide variety of things. And then over here, subscribe to get unlimited access. Again, it's just a sales page, nice attention to detail with the little check mark right there. And you can just keep on going. Now, if you want to build this out more, you can just go over here and click on duplicate, and it'll add in another one with the little check mark. Okay, so literally just clicked on it, and then I literally clicked on duplicate, and they just keep adding on it over there. And I quite like the way that this is laid out over there, with just the quick bullet points. If you do want to add in a sentence underneath, I would just click over here, hit enter, and then you have type sentence here. Type sentence here to help sell me on why I'd want to pay attention to this. I'd probably do that. You probably want to add in like 1-2 sentences max. You don't want it to be a paragraph over here. So this is like a nice, again, H2 title tag, attention grabbing, like join my school website, join my community today, join a bunch of other people and learn about blah, 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 bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, benefit 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have 2 buttons over there. Again, you can subscribe, view plans. If you want to get rid of one of these buttons, you can totally do that by clicking over here and click on delete, and then just deletes the button. Okay, and simple as that. Now, the image over here works the same way as everything else. You open your media library, you select the image that you want to swap it out with. And so I just have that right there, just a quick image of like a laptop I created with the school community. Super simple. So I'm going to show you how to make your own images next, but I just want to cover each part. And then over here are your blog posts. And so this is just not showing anything because we don't actually have any blog posts with a feature image. So let me go ahead and add in a feature image to one of the blog posts. So we'll click over here. We go down here to the dashboard, and we'll go into our post page. And we have hello world right there. Great. Now to add in a feature image, all you do is click this button right there, set feature image. Then we want to click on the feature image that we have right there. We'll click on set feature image. And there we go. So let's go ahead and click on save. Fantastic. Okay, so let's click back over here and let's open up the site again. And you should see the feature image for that blog post. So let's go ahead and scroll down and take a look, and the blog posts are not appearing. So what's wrong? All right, so let's jump back over here to the template section, and we want to navigate down to where it says the blog post area, and you want to click on it. And right here it says grid, item position, auto, manual. Now we want to click on the whole thing. So let me X out of that, and let's zoom out right there. Make sure I have the whole thing selected. There we go. Make sure the whole thing is selected. All right, let's pop in, let's zoom in. Now we want to change the query type from default to custom. And then with custom, you want it to be post. Post type, newest to oldest, that's fine. Now click on save. There you go. Now it should appear. Let's reload the site, and voila, right there. So this is what the blog post section looks like. Now, the thing I don't like about this with this theme, there's no title and there's no animation. So if you like this and people are just going to click on the image, that's okay. I personally don't like this. I like having a blog post section. Let me just show you my own site that has some type of animation associated with it. So if I mouse over this, like a little bit of subtle item movements and so forth, I like that. You can't get this with this, unfortunately. So it's a beautiful design. For me, it's not really that functional. So it's totally up to you if you want to keep this over here. At a minimum, what I definitely would consider doing over here is if you're going to have images like this, you need to have some type of title up top here, blog post, latest published, something like that. And then this could work if your images are going to have some type of text on it. So for example, if we look at this, like online course, GoDaddy, Namecheap over there, you kind of understand what you're going to be getting to, what you're going to be getting in when you click on those items. Over here, you got nothing. So you definitely need to add in a title right there. So how would you add in a title? Zoom out like that, click the plus sign, and then all you want to do is add in a block over here, and then you want to add in a paragraph block. That's it. And then blog posts right there. Simple as that. Move it up. Done. And then obviously it's a little small, so we want to maybe make that into like a title or something like that. Or you can have a heading if you want, change that, and there you go. And then again, just type in the heading as needed. And just to give context, like, but if you don't like this, you just want to switch to something else, which I do recommend. Just click on it, whole thing selected, then click over here to cycle through different options. For me, this is probably the best one for the homepage. Yeah, it's not as pretty, but it's more functional because it has the title. And so you can actually understand, the end user is going to understand where they're going to end up. So again, this is totally your call, but at a minimum, I would definitely consider adding in a title right there. So text, title, whatever you want to do. So let me add that back in and let's move that up. So we'll say latest, and then view the latest blog post, something like that. Keep it simple. And obviously you want to maybe indent this a little bit, so it's not, there's a little bit more padding around it. But again, the way it looks right there is fine too. So it's zoom in over here, back out of that, and that looks good over here. So maybe I'd have this be indented just a little bit, add a little bit of more padding on the left and the right. So we can have like the border over there like that. We don't want that white border. Keep it like white like that. And same with this over here. So the border right there. So just do the same thing over here that you did up top there, with adjusting the border dimensions. Click on that, open up that border. Add that one a little bit too, or have it more like that, whatever you want to do. And then white, obviously, so it all blends together. So again, there's a bit of a gap right here, so you got to just play around with it so it doesn't look weird. But that's how I would approach this. So maybe I would reduce the size of that like that right there, and that looks quite good. So totally up to you, or you can just completely get rid of this altogether and just keep this right here, latest, a little bit of indentation, fine. All right. Anyways, yay, finally. All right, so the last section right here, this is your final call to action on the site. The final call to action should be matching the top section up top here. So it's like sign up to this, request my quote, request a quote, consultation, download my cheat sheet, blah, blah, blah. That type of thing. You want to have the same type of copy down here. Final call to action to do something. So to change this over here, I quite like the way this is laid out. I like the button over there on the left-hand side. It's a little bit more attention grabbing. This title is really nice. If you want to make it smaller, you can just make it smaller. So totally up to you. You click on the title right there. It's an H2 title tag. Over here in the block settings, you have the custom size. You can just make this big or small, whatever you want to do. So I would make it probably a little bit smaller, but if you want to keep it big like this, totally fine. Click over here. This is just your standard XL text, body text, so totally fine. Then the button right there, edit and adjust that. So subscribe today. So again, same thing. I'd bold this, and then you hyperlink this to the specific respective page that you want to link people to. There you go. And we can get rid of this, the 2025 right there. We don't need that. And we don't need designed with WordPress as well from there. You can delete that, and there we go. So if you want to add in something else here, you can. So it already has like this 2-column design that you can play around with, but I probably would just delete this as well. There's no real need for it. We'll delete that, and then we have a spacer right here. A spacer helps just increase the size, space, whatever, gives it a little bit more breathing room between this element and the footer. So if you like it, you want to add more space, whatever. If you don't, just minimize it. I'd probably keep it like that, whatever. And then you have your footer down here because we have designed with WordPress and 2025 theme right there. So we don't need it here. Now, if you want to delete that, you can delete that down there as well. But anyways, that's how you edit these primary sections. That's kind of the idea behind the marketing about the way you should be approaching this. Clear and specific offer section at the top right here. Some type of welcome message that goes into a step deeper, the unique selling point of your site, how you can help your end visitor. The title over here, definitely would consider bolding that so it stands out. This statement right here should be backing up this statement up top there. Quick little paragraph, like maybe just this much or maybe 2 little paragraphs. Nice little link to your about page. This section, again, link to resources, tutorials, sales pages, whatever you want. Then we have maybe your community feed thing that you want to link to, whatever. Then your blog post. Again, I'd probably switch it to the other layout, but again, it's a beautiful design with this. Totally up to you. But if you're going to go with this, you definitely want to have at least a title like latest published, something like that, so people understand that they're looking at the blog post section. Then your final call to action right there should be matching this call to action at the very top of the site. Creating images for your websites. Now, look, I get it. Not everybody is a graphic designer, but if you're going to be building a website, you do have to have some level of competency over creating images. It's pretty simple with the tools available today. Now, the tool I'm going to be using is Canva. Canva does have a paid and free version. I definitely recommend the paid version. It's full featured. It's well worth the money, but you can sign up for free and get started for free as well. So just go ahead and click on the sign up button over there and then go ahead and create your account to follow along. Now I'm going to go with a test example. So let me jump into my templates over here. Let's open up the front page again. We'll zoom out and I'll navigate down here. Let's click on this and let's add in a new section. Actually, let's add it in underneath this. So click over here. Let's take a look at the banners over there. And yeah, perfect. So let's add in this image right there. Okay, so maybe I want to add in this image over here. So step 1 with any type of template and adjusting the image, you got to take a look at it to see what you're dealing with. So if I click over here for the block and I click over here for the block settings, the aspect ratio is right there. So it's square, 1:1. You can also change it to a 4:3 or a 3:4 or a portrait or a tall, whatever you want. So you can play around with it. The base level image over here by this. You could also set custom width and height as well. So that's how you kind of change this aspect of any section you're dealing with these images that you see. If you don't like the size that's built in, just click on it. And then over here underneath the settings right there, you should be able to change the aspect ratio. So for a quick example, if I click on that one right there, aspect ratio is original, but what if I want to make it classic portrait? Play around with it, standard, and so forth, and everything will kind of be formatted correctly, generally speaking, but it depends on your image, the way you have things laid out for yourself. Let me switch that back to original. So it is a good idea to kind of know what you're dealing with. So for example, if I have the square over here, a square is a square, so that would be 500 pixels by 500 pixels. It's a square. So make a square. Got to use your brain a little bit and kind of match what you're building over here. Anyways, let's jump into Canva right here. So when you create your account, this is what Canva looks like. So up top here, you have a wide range of options to choose from: YouTube thumbnail, documents, whiteboard. You can also just click over here to create a design. You can also click over here to create a custom design as well. So I know I'm going to be dealing with a square right there. So I'm going to have 600 by 600, but if I wanted to type that in manually, we could do 500 by 500 pixels over there. If you want to go with a different unit of measure, you can, but I like pixels. So we'll create a new design and then everything opens up over here. Now with creating graphics over here, you have your elements feature over here and you can just type in whatever element you want. I don't know, a tree. Type in tree. There we go. So we have graphics right there, photos, frames, videos. Canva is incredibly feature rich. So for example, this website is called Vloghouse. So maybe I'd want a camera. We'll type in that and see what that's like. And take a look at all these images. And oh, look at that one. The pro looks very good right there. Then magic recommendation. So I want to see more like this. So I can click over here to see more. And then here you go. And that is really, Canva is really that simple. So I can add that in too, minimize this, put that one there. All right. And then we click on the white area. Now that I clicked on the white area, I want to change the color from white to a different color. So it automatically inherits the color that the images you added in have. So for example, like this hot pink's already appearing right there. So it looks great. Maybe I'd want to make that a pinch darker like that. And creating images is very, very simple with Canva. And just like with WordPress, when you want to undo anything, just click over here to undo. And there you go. So really that simple. So that's what elements are for, to find nice little graphics to throw in. Text is obvious. You just add text. You can edit and adjust the text to your liking. So here we go. Heading, for example. Then I have the different font options over here. And Canva comes with a ton of different options. And so you can just choose whichever one that you want over there. So we'll click on display and click on that one or this one, whatever. You get the idea. So let me back out of that and back out of this. So anyways, let me click over here to delete this. So I'm going to click over here and I'm going to click on delete. And there we go. So click on delete right there with the trash can, and simple as that. Okay, so we click over here for brand kit. You can add your brand and logos. So as you develop that over time, you can just upload your own brand and logos to constantly be used. So set up ready to use templates to make brand consistency even easier. So why would you want to do that? So for example, just a quick example, with my thumbnails for my blog posts, I always have the little tagline of my name attached to it. So just that's what you would be using that for. Let me back out over here and close out of that and close out of that. So then we have the uploads over there. So these are all the uploaded images. So for example, this is the one I uploaded to the current site design. So how did I do that? How did I transform this? So for example, you can just make the image smaller like that. You have remove background right there. Click on that. There we go. And then we click over here for edit again. Once you click on edit, you have Magic Studio, which is very, very useful. You have background remover, background generator, magic eraser. Click over there for the little arrow, magic grab, text, and so forth. Down here, we also have effects. So if you want to add in like a shadow, so maybe I want to have a drop effect like that, or a glow, but I don't want the glow to be black. I want it to be maybe a little bit brighter or white, so we can change the color to something a little bit lighter and nice. Then we'd have to change the background over here so it matches. We'll change it to that color. And then maybe make this guy glowing white. So click on shadows again. And we'll click on this, make that white. There we go. So that's how you kind of edit and adjust everything. And there you go. Boom, boom, right there. And this is what you can kind of do with Canva. So you have to be a little bit creative. If you're unfamiliar with Canva, those are the primary things that you can do that are very, very helpful, that you're going to find incredibly helpful. Click on edit over here, play around with the Magic Studio, play around with different filters and the effects. The primary one that you're going to be using is remove background and shadows primarily. And you can also like generate backgrounds as well. So describe the scene, mood. Okay, city. There we go. Click on generate. And fantastic. So the AI just literally put this guy in the city, and that looks great. So we can just keep it like that if you want. So again, incredibly powerful tool at your disposal. If you click over here for tools, and you have a bunch of other tools right there for draw, shapes, lines, sticky notes, projects over here, things that you've already done, apps over there, different apps that you can tag onto your account. Most of them are free. Then right down there, we have Magic, the Magic Expander, Eraser, and so forth. And so these are very helpful as well. So like Magic Edit over here, so you can self-select something that you want to change within the image. So like you want to change eye color, for example. You can't see his eyes, but like if I want to change his eye colors, you click over here like that, or you can reduce that. So I can actually show you a quick example. Let's go ahead and delete this. And let's go ahead and find our uploads. Where's a picture of me? And yeah, there we go. So we got this picture of me. Make that bigger. And there we go. So my eyes are blue, but they look a little gray in that video. So, or this screenshot right there. Click over there, show more, then magic edit. Let's reduce the size a little bit right there and there. Okay. Make bright blue. Generate. Okay, and there you go. So it already made my eyes a little bit more bright blue. So anyways, let me go over here finally to photos, and we'll go ahead and delete this. So maybe I want to replace the image that's over here. So this is just a kind of painting or flowers or whatever. Maybe I want to have something with like vlogging related. Cameras or cameras, whatever. So like this one looks good. We'll take that over there. Looks nice. And maybe I'll edit the background over here. We'll just change it ever so slightly. Maybe to like Luna. Yeah, that looks great. So I'll just keep it simple like that, just for demonstration purposes. So that looks good. Now I want to use this. How does that work? You click over here for share. And then you click over here to download. And then you can download whatever size you want, PNG, PDF, JPEG, PDF print, SVG. So I usually like to use WebP, so I have a little two-step process. It's a little annoying, but I'll show you how I do it personally. So I click over here to download, and then I click over here to download again. And it's going to download the image to the site, or sorry, to my desktop. Click over there, desktop, and save that. Okay, so now I just saved the image, and let's go ahead and get that image. Now what I like to do is open with this with GIMP over there. Allow GIMP to load. Great, and then we have the image right there. I usually like to go here to File, and then I like to go to Export. Then I like to change this from a PNG to a WebP. I just find that this maintains the quality of the image, but reduces the file size significantly so your site loads much more quickly. Now you can use various WordPress plugins to like smoosh and compress your images, but I find that it does actually compress your image so it doesn't look as good. This is like a little workaround that I like to do. It's a little annoying because you got to open up and export, but for me, I think it's worth it. So let me go ahead and export over there. And looks good. So we have that over there. Let's minimize that. And let's take a look at that. So the properties of this over here, of the original. So we have the details right there. And let's navigate down here to see what this is. Okay, so size is 484 kilobytes. Not bad. And then as a WebP graphic, let's see. And 22 kilobytes, like a fraction. So it's super small and lightweight image. I'll just load quickly. All right, so anyways, we go back over here to our image, and I want to click over here to replace. We'll open up the media library, and now we have to just drag and drop our file in, our image in, whatever. So I'll take this, X out of that, drag and drop that in, and there we go. Now we have alt text right there. Alt text helps describe the image for search engine. So like camera with colorful background. So just like if your image doesn't load properly, it just explains what the image is. So that's what you want to do with alt text right there. And then the title, you want to have a title that makes sense. So it organizes everything quite well on your site. So you can like find images and reuse them as needed. So like if I have a screenshot of something like a pricing table for a specific software service, I name it as like the pricing table Bluehost, for example. And then I can just refer to that whenever I need that instead of going to Bluehost, taking a screenshot, and going through the rigmarole of creating another image. Anyway, so we'll just call this camera, keep it simple, click over here to select, and boom, uploads the image right there. I want to reduce that size a little bit, maybe like that. And that's how kind of images work. So I definitely recommend you check out Canva. It's well worth the money. It's totally free to use, but I definitely recommend upgrading. But you can very easily create professional level graphics. editing the logo and the favicon for our website. So right up top here in the corner, we have a box right there, and we have a word. So you can update the word if you want to the name of your website if you like, and go with a very nice basic text logo. So call this vlog how, or you can go ahead and create your own logo using Canva, which I just discussed. So if we jump back over here to Canva, this is what I came up with. Now, if you're curious what the size is over here, this is a 300 by 100 pixel image. So when you're logged into Canva, you click over here for custom size, and then you literally type in 300 by 100 and then create a new design, and it'll pop up like this. And this is what I just quickly came up with. So I have my font right there, League Spartan. The effect is over here with the outline. I reduced the thickness a little bit, and then I changed the color to this hot pink that's within the logo, because pink and yellow are nice contrast colors. And then I have this image over there that I got from just searching with the elements and typing in camera, and I edited the image, and I just set it as a fresco over there to make it a little bit more dark and colorful, and looks good. Good enough for now, just good enough to get a logo up. So let me open up the sites again. So right here, if I want to upload a logo, very simple. You click over here, you choose a logo, then you can upload a logo or open media library. So if I open my media library, I don't have the logo right there, so I do need to upload it, but you can also just drag and drop the logo into place right here, so no issue. So let me go ahead and do that. And then there we go. And then let's click on select. And yeah, that looks good. So I can kind of change the size of this over here, make it big if I want, or kind of reduce the size, whatever. Now that I have this right here, I can actually just get rid of the text over here. So we'll go ahead and delete that. So that is gone. If you don't want to delete it, then you could just backspace it. And then you can keep the text box there if you ever want to like write the site title or write a tagline or whatever. Totally up to you. This won't appear on the site. So if you just save it, it's not going to say like write site title at the top, but this will be blank as well. And there you go. Now, the other thing that we do need to adjust is the favicon. So you're like, what's a favicon? So if I open up my site over here, favicon right there is the little DU circle thing that I created. That's your favicon. Just need that for branding purposes. By default, you have the W for WordPress. Well, we don't want that. We want our own site title. So let me go ahead and click on save over here. And then I'm going to click on this to navigate back to where I am. Let's click on this to open this up. Now I'm going to click on the logo right there, or sorry, the logo, but the site title right there. And we're going to navigate back to the dashboard over there. Okay, so this is back to the WordPress dashboard. And let's navigate all the way down to click on the settings. Then I want to go over here to general. Once the general settings open up, you'll see something that says site icon right there. Now the site icon is what you see in browser tabs, bookmarks, blah, blah, blah. It should be 512 by 512 pixels. Simple as that. So what do? You go to Canva and you create a 512 by 512 image. And so it should be a graphic ideally that matches your logo. And so same process over here. You click on custom size, you go over here, 512, boom, create a new design. It'll pop up like this, then add in the image that you're going to use as your favicon. Simple as that. Next, choose a site icon and you have your media library pop it up again. So again, same process. We'll just reduce that, drag and drop that in place. And there we go. Set as a site icon. And oh, one other thing I forgot to mention is that with your logo and your favicon, when you download it over here, click on share and click on download. This is why you want the paid version, because you can just click over here for transparent background. So it automatically downloads with the transparent background, so it looks great. Then same thing over here. You click on share, download, transparent background. And the reason why you want to do that is just so it doesn't pop up with like a white background when it's up top over here. So let me just show a quick example. And we click on save changes. And there we go. So as you can see right there with the icon, it's not appearing at this time with like a white background. It's blending in perfectly, which is what I want. Actually, that probably could be a little bit better. Probably be better if I had it more straightened like that. There we go. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit more. So let me go ahead and fix that. Click on download. And there we go. And we'll click over here for desktop. Save it right there. Then change site icon. We'll minimize this again. Then that in the place right there. And set that site icon. And there we go. Okay, now we got to click on save changes. Done. Okay, yeah, that looks a little bit better over there. Anyways, so now we navigate over here to the front page, open this up right here. And this is why you want a transparent background, because now it's showing a yellow as the background because it's transparent. So it just makes it easy with whatever color design you use, whether or not you're using an image in the background or a solid color like I'm using. That's why you want to download your logo as a transparent image. But anyways, that's how you update the logo for your website as well as the favicon. Editing the menu for your website. So let's take a look at our site. The menu item is right up top here in the right hand corner where it says blog, homepage, etc. The goal of the menu is to obviously link to specific pages you want to direct the end visitor to, like about, contact, resources, blog, best articles, things like that. So I'm going to show you how to edit the menu, how to add in a drop down, and how to add buttons. So it's not too complicated, but you do need to have someone show you how it works. It is a little bit confusing maybe. Anyways, let me click over here for the menu item, and there we go. So now we have our page list right there, and you can add in additional pages by clicking on the plus sign right there. You can also add in pages by clicking on the plus sign right here. Then underneath this, you have your settings. So you have your justification, orientation. If you want to switch this to like a vertical layout for some reason, you can do that. Then the display right there. This is for your mobile menu, so you can turn this off so the menu item always displays. Or you can have it always on, so it's always a mobile hamburger menu, or keep it as mobile. I personally would keep it as mobile, so when people visit your site on a mobile device like their iPhone, whatever, it's a hamburger menu. Otherwise, have it display the menu item at the top right here. Another thing though too with menu items, you want to keep it to like 7 items max. So ideally maybe like 4 items and then a button. That's usually like a good amount. You don't want to overdo the menu and make it a little bit too complicated. Now, what's more important is to click over here for your settings. And over here, you can change the text color, background, submenu, overlay text, submenu, overlay background. So that means if you have a dropdown, this is where you customize the dropdown color and the look and feel of the site. Right down here, you have your typography, so you can change it to XS, XL, M, whatever. You can play around with the different size. I'm going to leave it as medium. You have your block spacing, and then you have width, fit, grow, fixed, whatever. I'm not going to touch that. Typography, though, is important, so let's click over here for our typography options, and you can change like font, appearance, line height, line spacing, decoration. So the thing that I like to adjust is clicking over here for appearance. Once I click over here for appearance, you have default right there, and I like to make this a little bit heavier. So I usually like to go to semi-bold right there, just give it a little bit more weight to the menu item right there. And there you go. So that's how you kind of edit and adjust this. You don't really need to do anything too complicated, but I would make the menu item a little bit heavy so it stands out a little bit better, not thin, wispy, white text. So anyway, this is your menu item. You want people to click on it. Okay. So let's navigate back over here to the page list. Let me click over here for sample page, and I'm going to move that. Now, when you move anything over here, it's going to pop up with this like warning. Page list. Oh no. All it's saying is that pages are not going to be automatically added to the site anymore. So you're like, we want that, because the way it's set up by default is when you come over here and you add a new page and you publish it, it gets added to your menu automatically. You don't want that. You want to add in your menu items as you want, because not every page you want in your menu item. So we're going to click over here to edit. And now you can just kind of drag and drop this around. You can reorder things. Super simple. Now, and that's it. Simple as that. So let me go ahead and click on the plus sign up top here, and I'm going to create a drop down menu for like best articles. So let's type in best articles. There we go. Now all we do is type in enter, because we don't have a page called best articles. Now we want to click on the edit link icon. There we go. Text is best articles. The link is nothing. There's no link. So what we want to do is we want to set up a hashtag. So I'm going to show you quickly. You want to type in your URL. slash, and then hashtag. What that does is that the end user can't click on best articles. And so it's still a link on your site, but doesn't direct the user anywhere. And then we can create a dropdown with that. So let me click over here to save. And there we go. So we're all set with that right there. Okay. Now it's time to add in blog posts to be under best articles. For that, I'm going to click over here to click on the plus sign. So we're going to add in a block, and I want to add in a post. Okay, not a page link, not a page list. We want a post. So post link right there. And then we have all our blog posts. You can just type in the URL of your blog post that you create. So for this, it'd obviously be your best articles. So we'll just add in this beautiful day right there. And then we'll add in this one, another post link right there. And there we go, yet another post. Great. Now it's adding it all to our menu. So you're like, well, how do I make it a drop down? So what you do is you grab the item right there and then you drag and drop it on top of the thing that you want to be part of the drop down. So let me drag and drop it right there. Boom. And then do that with the second one. Best articles, drag and drop it there. There you go. That's all that's it. So it's really that simple. Okay, so how do you add in a button to the main menu up top here? So we just click our menu item again, click this plus sign right there, and we want to click on add block. So we'll do that. Then we have buttons right there. Click on add button. There you go. So you can click over here like subscribe or whatever. Really should match the call to action right there. You don't want these like subscribe. It should be like download now, watch masterclass, something like that, something a little bit more tangible. And then you have your settings over here, so you can change the size over there, as well as the style of the button and the typography. So if you want to make the button really big, you can do that, whatever. You can play around with this on your own time. That's just how this works. And you can change the background color right there if you don't like black, as well as the text color. Change it to like a light button right there. Just little things like that. But it's really that simple. That's really how the menu item works over here. And finally, if we navigate back to the full site editor, let's get back out of that. You navigate over here to your navigation. You can also create drop-down menus from here. So we have our best articles right there. If I take this homepage link and I just drag and drop it right there over best articles, it will move it into there. So you can also do things from over here, and your button over here has the button icon right there. You click on that, you can move up, move down. You don't have a lot of like control over here. You definitely want to be jumping into your templates over here to edit the menu item. But really, it's that simple to just add buttons, create drop downs, and so forth. So let me back out of this. Let's go over here to templates. Let's go back to the front page, and let's click on this again. And then let's click on styles for that. And so now we're looking at the sub menu. So we click on that. And over here, we can change the sub-menu overlay in text and sub-menu overlay background and the background color and so forth, because by default, it's white, which I quite like. I think it looks good. But if you don't like it, you can just change things over here. So for example, we have the sub-menu overlay in text. So that changes the color of the text. So if I click over here and I click on pink, well, that's going to change the text to pink, which we don't want. We want it to be black. If I want the sub-menu overlay to be black, there we go. Then I would change this to obviously white so you can read it and so forth. So you can change the colors around as you want. I personally like the way it looks by default with white drop down. But again, totally up to you. It's your site, however you're designing it. But that's how you have control over the look and feel of your menu item. Okay, so let me go ahead and update the menu item with an about page and a contact page, because those are pretty standard pages that you do want in your menu item. So we have blog, about, contact, best articles, and a nice button over there. Button is optional, obviously. You have a big button right there if you're doing this design layout. So if you want to have this like nice big offer section across your site, then I probably wouldn't add in a button unless it's a different use case. And if you're going to have two buttons, then I'd probably go with the button that's like light and transparent like that. And so it doesn't conflict with this one from a design perspective. So it's too much color, and like this looks nice, very subtle right there. All right, so anyways, we don't need this sample page, but you can also just update it, the link over here. So if you want to change it to something else, you can just change, literally click on the sample page item, then just switch the URL. So we do need to create the about page. So I clicked over here to my pages, click on add new, and literally click the X away from that and literally type in about. So we just know this is our about page, and go ahead and click on publish. Obviously it has no content. We're going to need to build this out as well, and do the same thing with your contact page. So go ahead and click on the contact page, click X away from that. And there we go, and click on publish. And great. So now we can change this to the about page. And we'll change this to about. Then we'll change homepage to /contact, and then change the text to contact. There we go. So blog, about, contact, articles, subscribe, done. Looks great. And so again, just a broad overview when you're designing your menu item. Again, with the button, you have 2 buttons and keep one transparent so it doesn't conflict from a design and color perspective with this button right there. So that's how I would set that up. Best articles, I showed you how to create a drop down, and it works with blog posts and pages. It's the same exact process. Create a contact page, about page, and blog. You really don't need a homepage link in your menu item as well, because people can and they will click the logo to navigate back to the homepage. Editing and adjusting the footer for your website. So your footer is this bottom section on the site. Now by default, I think the footer looks great. This template layout with the logo over there and the menu items over here. Very, very nice, clean, minimalistic design. Now let's jump over here to a WordPress editor and get going. So let's navigate to the bottom right there. Okay, so first off, we have write site title. That's an H2 title tag. We don't need this. We can go ahead and delete that. Next, you have write a site tagline. Totally optional, but you can add in a quick little description of the website. So I can just say something like next level blogging made easy. I don't know, something like that. And same as before. So you got to navigate over here to the typography, click on that, click on appearance, change the appearance from default to maybe medium. And there we go. So you can add in a little tagline as you want, change the font choice, make it bigger, whatever you want to do. So maybe I'll make it like that, kind of nice and big like that. Maybe that's a little too big. There we go. Nice and large like that. Next, you have just the links over here. So you can just click on the link. Then you have the text right there, the link right there. So you just update the link to whatever page that you want to link to. So you have blog, about, FAQ. Again, you just change this to whatever you want. So like we don't have an FAQ. We don't have authors. Maybe you want to update this to like resources. So you would literally just type in resources over here and just edit it. So click over here, boom again, and change this to whatever, resources, and there you go. Simple as that. Now, for some reason you want to add more items to this, you can just come to the end and click on the plus or click on the enter sign, and then it creates a brand new link following up everything below. And so there you go. So same thing as before, you just type in the text that you want over there. So navigate over here, hit enter, add in text link right there, and then text link. Hit in enter, then we have text link right there. Then you can update the link as needed. Does that make sense? Pretty simple right there. You can do the same structure as over here with this. Now, if you want to add another column or something like that, maybe you want to add in social media links. What you want to do is you want to select the whole thing. So that's selecting this column, that's selecting this column. You want to click where the entire thing is selected. So there we go. Got the whole thing selected. You want to click over here for the plus sign. And maybe I'll add in social media links. So click over here for paragraph. Boom. Okay, now we have another section right there. And I want to add in social media links. So we'll type in social. We have social icons right there. Click on that. There we go. Now we can add in social icons. Click on plus and click on Facebook. Click on X. Click on YouTube. And there we go. And now we have our links live over here. So you can just click on it. There you go. Then you can enter in the link to your social media platform just like that. It's really that simple. And then over here you have your settings, which you don't have much control over. Same with advanced, but really that simple, just to add in quick little social media links to your footer. All right, so anyways, let me go ahead and click on save over here. Now we have this section down right here, and we want to update this with our legal pages. Just waiting for this. There we go. So we have 2025 right there.
No, you don't want that. You want to have like copyright of the website. So copyright, and then bloghow.com, and then you want to have maybe privacy policy, page separator, maybe terms of use page, and so forth. So maybe I'll add another separator right there. So you do have to create a privacy policy page and then just manually link it there. So let's jump over here to the dashboard. By default, WordPress does come with a privacy policy page. You can just take this URL and link it in the footer. Very simple right there. Open up that link and take this and then navigate down here and highlight this right there. Then hit the link enter button. And nope, I don't want to link to the homepage. And let's pop in the privacy policy there. And there we go. So you got to kind of manually do that, but you want to link to your privacy terms, just your legal pages. Okay. So a privacy policy page comes here by default, and there's a nice little tutorial if you want to read about how to create a privacy policy page. You can also read on your own time about how to properly create a terms of use page. So privacy policy page really just covers like how your website collects data and information, what you do with that. Your terms of use is like, well, how should people be interacting with your site and what they agree to, and how to opt out, which is usually just by leaving the site. So you just want to set that up over here. And we really don't want this design with WordPress. You could say like I'll just put an affiliate link, like hosting provided by, and then I'll just link to provided by Bluehost. There we go. Then you could have like your affiliate link to Bluehost, for example, and just could sit at the bottom, or you could just delete this whole thing altogether. Anyways, you want to update this bottom section as needed with your privacy terms. Your legal pages, again, go down here. Don't put your legal pages in the menu over here. This is for like a secondary menu that's up top here, should be in the footer again. And then other relevant pages that maybe don't make sense for the main menu, like shipping, returns, whatever, affiliates, things like that go down here in the footer. So let me go ahead and click on save over here. And looks good. Okay, so let's jump over here. And now that's our template right there. So the footer is actually considered a pattern. So we have a footer pattern right there. And you can edit and customize the footer pattern directly if you want as well, which I normally don't do it this way. Let me back out of this and let's go over here back to the template. Let's open up the footer section again. Now, if you want to rotate through different footers, you can. So just click over here to zoom out. Then you click over here. Then you can click on this, shuffle. And this is how you can change to different titles, different like templates for your footer. So if you don't like this footer and you want to play around with another template to adjust things, you can do that right here. So really that simple, just to play around with this and so forth. And let me bounce back over here. Now, if you want to create your own footer from scratch, what you would have to do is go to patterns, go to footer, then click on add new pattern. So then you would add a new pattern over here. And so this starts a completely new footer from scratch, like custom footer. Click on add. You want it to be synced because you don't want to customize the footer for every single page on your site. And here you go. So you can just build your own footer from scratch if you want using the block editor. So we can click on browse all. I can click over here for footer again. Click over here for pattern. Then we have a bunch of different options. So we click over here, selecting maybe this one, footer with search site title and that. And there we go. Then click on save. And then what ends up happening is that pattern gets added to your patterns. So the reason why you'd want to do it that way, because then you can click over here again, and then you want to zoom out, and then you can just cycle through over here to the pattern that you just created appears right here, and then you can just save. So that's how you add in a different footer design if you want to create something a little bit more custom or different, or use a different default layout than the one that you're given to by the theme. Anyways, that's how you adjust the footer. Designing the blog archive page. Now we have a blog linked in the main menu. If we open it up, it directs us to the url.com/blog, which is correct because if you have a blog, you want it to be the /blog URL. Now let me jump over here back into my dashboard just to explain how everything is working. So over here, in the very beginning, we created a page. We called the page blog. It's right there. And it's inheriting the post page templates. The reason it's inheriting that template is because under here, over in the settings, under reading, we have post page and blog. There you go. And so that's why it's inheriting this template right over here. Let me back out of that. Right here, this blog home templates. Okay. Now what we need to do now is we need to design again the header section for the blog home and all the other page templates. But the good thing is that all of these other templates all inherit the same design. So you make one change on this one, it changes everything else, except for the front page, which I quite like because then it keeps everything kind of simple. Because then you can have like a very custom design for your homepage and kind of keep everything separate. Okay, so anyways, let's jump into the blog home template over here. And we got a little bit of work to do, nothing too crazy. Now, let's click over here and select that. Now, the thing that we want to do is click over here for this template. Okay, so this is the template that we use for the homepage, remember? But then I went ahead and deleted this big image right there. Now, if you want to keep it, that's totally fine. For this, I'm going to delete this. Now we have our menu item at the top right there, but we do want to inherit the menu from the homepage. So we don't have to like redo anything, okay? It's not that complicated. So you select the menu, not click, you select the menu. And over here, you click over here, the little drop down, we have navigation 2 and navigation 1. If you're like, what's navigation 2? Well, if we navigate down here, this is a menu, okay? So depends on how you click around and whatever, this is considered a menu. So just make sure to click over here, select navigation, and then just inherits everything automatically. And now it's still like a white background. So we got to click over here again, minimize this, and then let's click on it again, background yellow, or not that. Let's click on the whole thing. There we go. And then click on background yellow, done. Okay. So a couple little things right there. So right over here, the font weight is a little bit heavier, which I do like. So we do have to change that, but that's simple enough. Click over here again. Just make sure to select the whole thing. There we go. Then jump into settings. And then we want to navigate to our typography. So where is that? Right there. Okay, typography there. Appearance. And then let's select it back to being semi-bold. And that matches this over there. And that looks great. So let's click over here for save, done. Simple as that. There we go. So now everything matches. Now, if I back out of this, you're going to notice that the entire site has been updated with that. So now you have a very consistent design across the website. Some customization ideas for your blog page. Now, if you're happy with the way this looks, then just keep it. It's your blog role. Post title, feature image, simple enough. Very easy for an end visitor to kind of find the content, the latest content that you've been publishing. So if you like it, you can just keep it the way it is. But there are a few things that we could consider adding into this page to make it a little bit more useful for the end visitor. So let's zoom in. First thing I'm going to want to do is we're going to get rid of this blog and we're going to call this maybe vlogging tutorials, advice, and guides. There we go. We'll highlight this, bold it, and center. So that's a little bit more actionable and useful. We'll hit enter. Now we can enter in a little text box. So we can say, hi, my name is, my name is Brian. I write this blog to help you do XYZ 1, 2, 3 thing, ... There you go. Simple. Okay. So let's zoom out. So now we have this little content at the very top right there, which looks good. And this is the title of the site. And we can also drag and drop patterns in right there. And you can also cycle through this as well. So actually we can't. So we have to delete this and add in another blog roll section. So let me go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and delete this. I know we're going to delete it. It's fine. And we're going to click on the plus sign right there. We're going to type in blog. And then we have a bunch of different options. Let's click on this one right there. And that looks good. But you can cycle through this and see which one you like. This one doesn't show images, so pass on that. That's what we had before. And I actually quite like this one. Very minimalistic and nice over here. Now, another thing that would be helpful would be like categories. So we can have a category list that we can drag and drop in, or we could have this grid with categories. So kind of like that, we can drag and drop that in at the very top right there. And that looks good. So maybe you have like top 3 categories. So let's zoom in a little bit and minimize that. So like at the top 3 categories, what you'd have to do is you'd have to take this, then hyperlink it to the respective category that you create. Now, if you're kind of confused as to like what I'm talking about, when you blog and you publish a blog post within WordPress, everything has to be categorized as something. Typically, you want to have 4 to 7 categories max. And so your categories are controlled right under here. Right now, you just have uncategorized because it's a fresh installation of WordPress. So there are no categories. So you have to build these out. But then you just link to your category page. So you just manually do that. So you can link to category 1, category 2, category 3 right there. Okay, so it's really that simple. And so we can click over here for the uncategories, and this is the slug of the website. So we take that, and so it's uncategorized. So it should be bloghow.com/category/uncategorized. There we go. Yep, category uncategorized. There we go. So you just take this URL, copy that, then manually link to it from right here. Maybe bold it, click on that, and paste that in. There you go. You have a nice link to the specific category page. And there you go. So it's really that simple. And obviously the images, you already know how to update that with Canva. Same structure as before, where you can kind of edit and adjust the size over here. And again, with the settings over there, when you click on the image, you got your settings over here: fixed background, repeat background, the design of it, the overlay, opacity, just all those details that you can play around with on your own time. So there you go. And I think this looks quite nice. So over here, we have this right there. You can link to your favorite categories or the most useful categories. You have the most recent posts over there. And if you want, you can also add in a search function on this page. So to add in a search function is very simple. You just want to navigate back to your patterns. You want to type in search, literally the word search, and you have a bunch of different options. So we have the footer with search, or heading and search form. So we want this one, the heading and search form. So go ahead and click on that. We obviously want to move this up. So we want that at the very top right there. And I think that looks great. Or you can move this down one if you want. So then it's this top category thing, recent posts, then what are you looking for? Personally, I'd probably keep that at the top right there. I think that looks quite nice. So the user opens up the blog. What are you looking for? Tutorials, advice, and guides. You have your categories over here that you can build out over time. Then you have more post content right there. And again, you can get quite creative with designing this page, but I'm just trying to give you some ideas of things that you can add into your blog page to make it a little bit more expandable than simply just your blog role. You can actually make it quite useful for the end visitor to search for pieces of content, link to categories, link to your most recent posts, and so forth. Customizing the 2025 theme single post template. Let's get started. Now, out of the box, this is what the single post template looks like. So you got your title at the top right there, the feature image, then the written by the author category, and then the actual text and content looks great. Big text, padding on the left and the right, single column design, very easy to read, great for mobile, great for desktop, whatever. I quite like this out of the box. And there's not a lot I would change personally, but I'm going to give you some options that you can take advantage of. Okay, so first off, let's bounce back over here to our editor. And the template that is controlling the single post design is right down here, single post. So you want to open up that. So a few things that I would consider doing would be potentially removing the feature image, number one, because the feature image appears right here. But if you remove the feature image, it will be gone, which I quite like. I just want to get into like the text right away. But because you remove it right here, it's still attached to the blog post, so it'll appear over here. So you want the feature image to appear as part of the blog roll, like a section on the homepage or your blog roll page, it will. But when the actual post is open, then you don't want it to appear, then that's perfect. You can just delete this. You also have a bunch of different options over here with that. So we have this selected, the feature image section selected, and the settings right there. You have link to post. That means that'll make this clickable to the actual post itself that I'm already on, which is completely pointless. That's like an internal link to the page you're on. There's no need for that. So that's why the setting is turned off to link to post. Over here, you have overlay opacity. So you can change the opacity of this image right there as it's displayed. Padding. You have your different aspect ratios, original, square, portrait, and so forth. Scale, contain, fill, and so forth right there. Border shadow. If you want to add in a border to the feature image, you can just do that right there. And color over there, color, overlay, opacity, reset. Just a bunch of helpful little features you can add in. But I'm personally just going to go ahead and delete this. And there you go. Now, whenever you want to add in any block, that's called the feature image. So you want to click up top here for the title, hit enter. Then you have the plus sign right there. Click on plus. Then you can just type in feature, and it's feature image right there to add it back in. Okay. So if you ever want to add it back in, that's how that works. You just got to know what it's called and add in the appropriate block. Okay. So a couple different things. We could add a call to action at the very top and bottom of this if we wanted to. So let me X out of that. So maybe I want a nice call to action to sit at the very top of every single blog post. You can do that. So click over here for the pattern. And now we just type in CTA, call to action, and then boom, centered heading. So there we go. We have a call to action sitting at the very top of the site, right above the title and so forth. Obviously, we can make this match if you want. So it depends on how you design your site. Right now, this makes most sense to blend it in. So let me click over here for background. And there we go. Now, because this is not attached and syncing with the homepage, you can have a unique call to action on your blog post. Maybe you link to like an Amazon ebook or whatever. You don't have to have the same exact call to action. You can kind of customize this as needed. And then you have your content right there. And let's go ahead and zoom out. And let's click on the plus sign right there, patterns. Then we'll just do CTA again. And we can just easily click and install things in different sections right there. So we can have something at the very bottom, which is where you want it. You have the footer right there, right above the footer should be your final call to action. So we have more posts right there. We have the comment section right there, the content right there, offer section. To me, this looks quite nice as an individual blog post. So I quite like this. This is what I would personally do. You have a few more options I do want to just show you briefly. So let's go ahead and click over here for add new template, and you can click on single item post. Now you have all posts and post. So this one's for all your blog posts. This one is for a specific item. So this means like you can customize the design for an individual blog post to be completely different than all the other blog posts on your website. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. I've never actually needed to do that, but you can do that with this theme, or you can set a alternative post layout if you want. So we'll click on all posts over there. Then you're presented with a bunch of different options right there. So you can just kind of go through this and self-select the one that you want to maybe leverage and use, whichever one you like. So you can just take a look at this. So I quite like this one right there with the title, and then click over here. So we have the title right there, categories, good, content right there. That looks nice. Then we have this published date. Then we can hit enter over here. Then you can like have a sidebar menu. So like link number 1, link number 2, link number 3. So you can have like these could be like links to other blog posts that you want people to navigate to, affiliate offers, review pages, things like that. You have a little bit more flexibility, and it's nice to have like this left-hand sidebar over there and the content over there. So you can kind of, again, customize and design this to your liking. So if I click over here, for example, we can change the background color to something else. I can click on style 1, style 3, 5, 2, default, like that. If you want to kind of have it stand out and be a little bit different than the rest of the site, whatever. This is just like an alternative layout you can play around with. Same thing up top there. You can add a nice call to action at the top. So click on that. There we go. Title, categories, content over there. So totally up to you how you want to design this. Personally, I like the default blog post layout. So I would navigate down here and go ahead and just delete that other layout, which is right here. So go ahead and delete that. Click on that. Yep, I want to delete that. And now we're reverting back to the original style, which I think is the best personally. But you do have this other random unique option. If for some reason you want to, like if you click on for a specific item, then you can self-select the blog post that you want to have this custom unique design. So it's like, I only want Hello World for some reason to have this other design that's completely different from the rest of the website. So you can just go ahead and do exactly that. So we'll click over here and then we can click on save. And so then we click over here, we'll reload this, then it has its own unique, different layout. But if I click over here for the blog, then we go to another piece of content, has the other layouts. So I don't know why you'd want to do that, but if you want to do that, you have that flexibility. Maybe you want to mix up offers or change up the design, whatever. But that's what you can do with your single post design. Customizing the page design and layout. So we already went through the blog post page and individual blog posts. Now we have just your general pages for your website, like about, contact, your privacy policy, resource page, that type of thing. So what template controls that? So let's jump over here to our templates. And if we navigate down here, we'll see the page, no title, and pages. So right there, this is what's controlling everything for your pages. So click into over here. And by default, I think this is great. So you have a feature image at the top if you want. You don't have to have a feature image on your pages, like the about page, not required. And then single column design. And just like with your blog posts, you can just edit and add blocks into this for the template if you want. Personally, I'd kind of just leave this. Looks great. Not really much to change over here. But if you want to do that, you can. Just click on like the plus sign again. CTA over here, boom. You have like a nice call to action on top of your specific pages that you want. So all your pages will have the same call to action at the top, will be different from your blog post, will be different from your homepage if you do this. Not really required though. So there you go. Simple as that. And again, you can just zoom out, click on this element right there, click on the plus sign underneath. Then you can add in different patterns over here. Then again, I just showed you how to kind of change and edit and adjust all the different patterns that you have access to. So for example, if I have like a banner over there and maybe we have a book for sale, something like that, you can have the book for sale at the very bottom right here, like get your free chapter, download my guide, whatever, things like that over here. You can kind of implement and then just custom design this like how I showed you previously. So I click over here, switch out the image and change the text as needed. Again, nothing too crazy. One cool thing you can do with this theme is you can set dedicated templates and then add a template for the specific page. So you're like, what are you talking about? All right. So for example, let me click back over here and we'll go to add new template. And then if I navigate over here to pages, I can create a brand new page, add template page. This template will be used only for specific chosen items, whatever, not a big deal. So we can select the page that we want to create a custom template for if we want. So click over here for add new template again, and that's how it works. So if you want to create like a custom design for a specific page, you can do that right here. Just select the page and then you custom design only this page. So if you want to custom design your about page, you can only design that custom design only that page. I think a better solution to that would just be navigating down here to going to custom template. So I can just say like custom about. We'll create that. And let's click on create. Then we'll click on skip over here. Now we have a blank template. So we can click the plus sign over there, click on browse, click on patterns over there. Then again, we can just build this out as we want. So again, if I do like CTA, for example, I have this over here. We can build out a nice sales page or about. We'll open up that. We have different sections over there and so forth. So you can kind of play around with this and see what you like and see what is effective and how you want to lay out and design your page. So for example, maybe I want to have like a landing page. So time for an adventure, join my class, join this, that. You want to link to this from your other pages. So let's zoom back into this and click X on that and open up the settings over there. And then you just custom design this as needed. Again, you can click on the color over there to change the background color as needed, overlay opacity. You can change the font choice, all this good stuff you can play around with, swap out the images for something else. And of course, you can continue building this specific page out. So we click over here for featured, whatever. Okay, so we click over here for featured, click on that, click over here to zoom back in. Maybe we want to change the color to like blend that in. So we have this yellow color and I don't really like that. So let's go ahead and change that to our settings. Okay, so we navigate to our block and then we go to the styles right there in the background and then we can change the color over here. So again, to whatever we want, we'd probably want to match it with this color. So you'd have to click up top there, click over here, click into this, EB for whatever, copy that, click over here, click on this, click on the background, and then click over here, and then there we go. Then you can just kind of blend everything together. And so this is kind of helpful for creating like a sales page if you want. Have like a white background, copy, text, whatever you want. So we click on save over here, and this will change the page and post use this template. So we'll click on save, totally fine, because this is just a custom template. Now, if we zoom out of this, then we have like a custom about page. That's why I just called it. Simple enough. So let's click over here to open the page up, and we'll go over here to our dashboard. And then we'll navigate down here to pages, and we click over here for our about page, which still needs to be built out. And so the about page, you can again design it with the block editor, and it's going to use the template. So this controls the content portion. If that's making any sense, I hope you guys don't get confused by that. Because again, like if we open up the single page over here, where is that? Page is right there. Like this right here, the title, content block, all the content you produce over here, you publish over here, appears here, and then the whole template just stays the same. That's how this works. Now, if you're over here and we click on page, you navigate over here to template, you have a bunch of different templates. So we can click over here to swap template. And then boom, there we go, the template we just created. Then click over there and then click on custom about or save that. And then we open up this, and now we have a nice website.com/about. No menu, no logo. We have a nice squeeze page, sales page. So you can build out sales pages with this. So if you have like email marketing with whatever tool you want to create your own custom sales pages, landing pages, drive attention and traffic to from like YouTube, social media sites, whatever, and convert people into like buying something, you can just create your own custom pages now with this very quick and easily. So I quite like this. So this is how this is working. So again, the template over there, you just click on swap template and you have your different options over there. And so that's how you kind of change everything. And if you want to go back, you just click on use default template and it switches it back to pages. So really, really simple. And then boom, we're back to where we are. Anyways, that's how you customize your pages. Copywriting for your specific pages. So I just want to cover a broad overview about like what kind of copy and content should you be incorporating into each and every page on your site. So let's go ahead and open it up. So your homepage either should be a sales page for a specific offer. So you make the offer at the top right here, and then you sell me on why I want to convert to that specific offer as well. Or you make the homepage into a visual menu for the website. So showcase your different pages, services, blog posts, that type of thing. I probably wouldn't incorporate blog posts if you're offering specific services because it's a distraction from the primary call to action, which is to get people to request a quote, consultation, or click on your service pages. But those are your two options with the homepage, sales page or visual menu for the website. Now you have your about page over here. And the way I would write the about page is you just want to quickly establish, why does this website exist? What problem are you solving? How are you solving that specific problem? Who's behind the website? Then have a final call to action to do something. At a minimum, that's a nice template to follow. So you just take a look at like my about page over here. It's not about like me, like David likes long walks on the beach and things like that. It's about my sites and like how I can help you. So nice strong call to action up top here, directing people to my gig page, building out social proof right here, helping people navigate the website, and a final call to action to do something. That's kind of how you want to structure your about page. Then you have a contact page. So your contact page is very simple. Contact page is just to provide a way for people to get in touch. You can either build in a contact form if you want, or just show an email and just do it very subtly. Like the way I do it over here. You don't need to make this big and prominent because like if people want to get in touch with you, they'll navigate to your contact page and just provide an email. Personally, this is what I like to do. Keeps it simple. People can just navigate to their email clients like Gmail, then shoot me a message. No problem. And also other things you can incorporate into the contact page are like your social media links, like follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever else like that, or a call to action for some type of coaching or offering service right there like I do. And like just want to say hi and just say hello and provide people different ways to get in touch. So that's how you should structure your about page, contact page. And then down over here, you have your privacy policy, terms of use page. So let me open up my glossary page. There we go. All right. So you have a bunch of different legal pages that you need. So privacy policy, we'll open up that. There we go. And then terms terms and conditions page right over here. And so broadly speaking, what to include in privacy policy? A privacy policy is a required legal page for your blog or website or online store. And you just want to have, the whole point of a privacy policy is to tell people what information is being gathered by your website. And your website is gathering information whether you're even aware or not. So when you create your own website, it will record traffic and keep a log of it. Every website uses tracking software. If you're going to incorporate like Google Analytics or something like that, you need to know that. Specifically mention that you don't share any type of personal information, particularly if you're collecting like emails and so forth. If you're running an email list, you do need to emphasize that. If you're running Google AdSense program, you're required by Google to have a privacy policy on your site and so forth. Then you have your terms and conditions page. So your terms and conditions page is just like what visitors are agreeing to abide by, as well as how to opt out, typically by not visiting your website. So you create this page and put it in the footer. You don't want it in the main menu up top here. And this, you want to create one page for privacy, one page for your terms and condition. And if you're going to engage in affiliate marketing in a business relationship, this is what you want to incorporate with your terms of use page. So the point of a terms of use page is to describe to people what they are agreeing to. It's like inviting people over your house. Just say what you expect from your visitors. For a content-focused site, if your site is copyrighted or not, if it is, then say and tell people what they are allowed or not allowed to do. So normally it's like fine to link to my site, take little clips of it, whatever, as long as you're linking back, but it's not acceptable to copy the entire piece of content or sell the content in some capacity. And also tell the visitor that they are responsible for what they do or don't do or neglect to do. Another page you can consider making would be a disclosure page as well. So you can link to your disclosure page at the top of a blog post. So like you want to do this like when you're promoting a specific offer as an affiliate. So the goal of a disclosure page is to disclose and make obvious interests that are not obvious otherwise. So it's not required, but it's a good idea to create such a page that you can link to from any content where you're engaging in affiliate marketing. So you've seen this on other blogs. Like you have the title at the top right there, and you have a little disclosure. Check out our disclosure. We're an affiliate. We earn from clicks or whatever. You want something like that. So you just want to disclose on your whole disclosure page is how your website makes money, disclose any conflicts of interest, disclose any form of compensation you receive. So for example, if someone's sponsoring a blog post on your site, you want to disclose that. And the point is just to be transparent to your end visitor and to make clear any type of compensation or conflicts of interest that might not otherwise be interest. That's why it's called a disclosure page. So anyways, that's the kind of copy and content that you want to build into your website over time. Adding in a contact form for our website. So we have a contact page, and I know a lot of you are going to want to have a nice fancy form going on over here. So how do you add in a contact form? So let me show you how to do that. So let's navigate back to our WordPress dashboard. Click over there. This is the dashboard. You want to navigate over here to plugins. And what we want to do is we want to install WP Forms Lite. So this is already pre-installed with Bluehost, but if you're following along and using a different web host, you want to click up top here to add a new plugin. And you want to just type in WP Forms and then click on search. Really that simple. So anyways, let me click over here to install plugins, and let's go ahead and activate WP Forms. And there we go. So now it's activated, and we have a new menu item link over here that says WP Forms. Let's go ahead and click on it. And let's create your own form. Really that simple. Now we have a quick little onboarding process. I'll just show you how it works. Nothing too complicated. Let's go. Click over here for done. Click X away from that. There we go. Sorry about that. Let me click back into it. There we go. Okay. All right. So right over here, what we want is we just want a simple contact form. Name, email, message. Use this template. Done. Simple, easy to do. Now we have the template over here. We want to click into our settings. Now the settings is important right there because you can click over here for spam protection and security. You can set up a captcha. You do have to go through a different process to set that up. It's a little complicated, not too complicated, but I have a different tutorial video on this if you want to set it up. Now let's click over here for notifications. This is important right here. Send to email address. So admin email, no, you don't want to, well, unless you want the email that you use to sign up to Bluehost and you want everything to be sent to that email, then it's totally fine to have the admin email. But if you want to set it up to like a custom email address, like hello@website.com, whatever, And then you want to put that in right here. So anyways, let me reload this just so it pops up with admin email again. So that's what you want to just make sure you take care of right over here. And then you want to click on save once you're done making all the adjustments and whatnot. Okay, and now let's jump back over here to fields. Name, first name, last name. I don't see the usefulness of having a first name, last name. Just keep it simple. Name, email, comment, or message. Done. Simple as that. So let's go ahead and add it to our site. Okay, so we just navigated over here to our contact page. Now all we have to do is embed the form. Now it's pretty easy. Click X away from that if you need a little tutorial, but just want to type in WP forms right there. Click on that, select the form, simple contact form. There you go. Simple as that. Just type in WP forms and add it in. And this is your contact page. There we go. We'll click on save right there. And awesome. So let's take a look at it. Let's open up this. And there we go. So we have a nice little contact form right there on our contact page. Setting up a captcha for your contact form. Now, if you are going to be using a contact form on your site, you definitely want to protect it so you don't get bombarded by spam, because you will get bombarded by bots all the time. So as you can see, I actually use HCAPTCHA and it works great. So step one is to navigate to hcaptcha.com, log in, and this is your dashboard. So you are going to have to create an account, so just go ahead and do that. Step two is to navigate back to your WordPress dashboard, and you want to navigate down here to where it says WP Forms. Then you want to click on Settings. Then you want to click on CAPTCHA. Then you want to click on HCAPTCHA. And now you need just two things. That's it. You need a site key and you need a secret key. Now to get the site key is very easy. You just go over here, click on Add Site, reference name, whatever. I'll just type in vlog, then the domain of the website. So vloghow.com. There we go. Click on plus over there. And then mode, always challenge, passive. It's up to you. I like always challenge, and moderate is fine. We'll click over here to save. And then once you do that, you have your key right there. So click on that, then navigate over here and pop in the site key. Next, you need your secret key. And so your secret key is actually secret. You don't want to share that with other people. So you want to navigate up top here, go to your settings, and then you have your account level secret key. So you can't see mine, and you can only generate one new secret key at a time, one secret key per day. But I'm not going to generate a new secret key because then that makes this key invalid. So everything's working. I'm going to leave it as is. So when you create your secret key, when you have your secret key, copy and paste that into Notion or a notepad doc, or just, you got to save it somewhere. And then you always use that whenever you use WP Forms. Anyways, once you've added in your site key and your secret key, go ahead and click on Save Settings. Done. A preview of your CAPTCHA is displayed below. Please verify your CAPTCHA settings are correct, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's go ahead and check the form. So let's go ahead and test to see if the CAPTCHA is working. So I navigated back over here to the contact page, and let's open up the contact page and reload the site, and it's not working. So you're missing one little step that you need to do. So you need to navigate over here to your WP Forms plugin page right there. Navigate down here to settings, spam protection and security. Then you have to actually click on enable HCAPTCHA. That's what you have to do over there. Then click on save. Great. Now let's take a look at the form. And it's working as expected. So I am human right there. So when people try to email you, name, email, message, they do have to click on this, I am human, and then fill out this thing right there. Anyways, that's how you protect your contact form with HCAPTCHA. SEO for your website. So let's cover some basic SEO principles that you need to be aware of for your website. So step one is navigate over here to settings, and we want to navigate down here to permalinks. Now, by default with Bluehost, it should be vloghow.com/sample post. Sample post is the best if you're just creating a blog, an information website, organize everything into categories and tags. Very, very good. If you're going to be having a range of services like coaching, consulting, you're going to have dedicated service pages. It's probably a little bit better to go with /blog/post title to help search engines understand the structure of your website, that the blog is a separate thing from the core offering of your site. You also see right here, day and name, month, that this is one of the worst structures possible. Dates are okay if you're producing time-sensitive content. If you're not producing time-sensitive, news-oriented content, then I would not use dates. Anyways, that's what you need to know for post name. And you can also click over here for custom structure. So it's up to you to play around with this however you want. So you want to do like website.com/post name, or maybe I'll get rid of that. And then website.com/ maybe I want the category, put that in right there. Then I want the post name. You could do that as well, but that's ideal if you have a very, very big site with like thousands of blog posts. So it really depends on what you're building out. For most people watching this, I think post name is quite acceptable. So anyways, that's what you want to do within the permalink settings over here. Next up, we're going to want to add in a SEO plugin. So let's click over here for plugins. And at least with Bluehost, it went ahead and installed Yoast SEO. I don't like Yoast SEO, so I'm not going to be using it. I like to use Rank Math. Let's click over here for add plugins and type in Rank Math and hit enter. And Rank Math will appear right here. So let's go ahead and click on install. And then go ahead and click on activate. Once you activate it, it brings you to this onboarding process. I'm going to click over here to skip just to get into the good stuff, and then click return to dashboard over here. So you can go through the wizard on your own time. If you want to go back to the wizard, you just click over here for the setup wizard and it takes you right here. So if you ever want to go through that setup wizard, you always have access to it. Don't worry. So anyways, the things that you need to pay attention to with this. So let's take a look at our post right here. So with Rank Math up top here, once you add it in, you have these little buttons at the top right there. Right here is where you control your snippet. So the snippet is how this will look within the search engines. So typically you want to have the post title, and then site title, depending on how long it is. Okay. So if I have something kind of short, like, I don't know, how to start a blog, we'll just say that. How to start a blog, then page separator, and then site title. You can do something like that. But if it's really, really long, like how to start a step-by-step, blah, 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 and keep going forward like that. You see how it gets to red? That means it's too long. So you want to get into like kind of the green range. You don't want it to be too long or too short over here. And because it's the title of your site, you do want to capitalize all the words in it. So capital P and capital T, post title, capitalize all the letters right there. With your permalinks, keep it short and sweet. So with the post title, as you can see, it's quite lengthy over here. How to create a professional WordPress website, blah, blah, blah. But then the URL is create a website. With your URL structure, your permalink structure, just keep it short and sweet to focus on the keyword. Then write a quick description of what the piece of content is about. Incorporate your keywords as needed. You can also use AI to help you just whip up content quickly and easily for this description section. This is your meta description. That's what this is called. Your meta description. It's like 2 sentences long, describes what the piece of content is about. So let's pop back over here. Let's go back to Rank Math SEO and let's go to general settings. Okay, so now we have a bunch of things. We have strip category base. You don't want to do that. That strips the category from the structure of your site. The category structure is quite helpful, so you want to keep that. And open external links in new tab. You want to keep that on. Next, you want to navigate over here to titles and meta description. So you have your home page right here. And so static page is set. So WP password, settings, reading, add the SEO title and meta for the home page. What does that mean? It means you have to navigate over here for the page and then go to your front page or home page over here. This is where you add in the meta description for your home page. Click X away from that. Click over here, edit snippet. So this is the title. This is the home page of our website. So it should be something like vlog how, then tutorials, comma, advice and guides for next level vlogging. See, it's a little long, so whatever. You get the idea, or maybe I can keep it like that, or remove the tutorial part. There we go. So vlog how, advice and guides for next level vlogging. That's the title of the page. So you click over here to save it. Then you do want to add in a meta description. It's the homepage. So there's no permalink because it's the homepage. So those are just the little details that you need to know about. Now, that's really from a high level overview that what you need to pay attention to with your blog content and your pages. For your blog posts, they should be kind of focused around a keyword, not super focused, but you want to create content that people are searching for. and just create helpful content and get that organic search traffic and convert it in some meaningful way. Now, one other thing that's also important, let me click over here for the settings and then the page. So you do want to add in categories as needed. And let's navigate back to a blog post. And let's open up this hello world right here. Now, as you can see, you have categories, uncategorized, and so forth. And your categories are controlled right down here. Your categories right there, add a new category, and then vlogging gear, whatever. I can enter in that, then click on save. Okay, and then it automatically adds this. Now, with categories and tags, categories are broad topics. Tags are like more niche specific. So your category could be cars, and then your like a tag would be a specific car brand as an example. So you want to do that. You also don't want to put things into multiple categories. Just one category. That's all you want. One category. You can do as many tags as you want, but tags are, again, with WordPress and websites, tags are meant to help the visitor navigate the site and tell search engines what your website is about. Tags are not like social media stuff where you add in 20 tags. You don't want to be creating all these random pages on your site. So use tags logically as it makes sense. Okay. So right over here, I created a new category. If we navigate over here with the dashboard, go down to categories. Here we can see the category we just created and the post counts over here. So if I click in over here, you can edit this category page as much as you like. So description goes here. And personally, I would consider building this out. Like add to it and make it helpful and useful for the end visitor. Then your category URL is right here. So category.com, X away from that. Click over there, copy, click on update. And there we go. Let's paste that in. And great. So category, vlogging gear, description goes here. Done. Okay. So simple. That's how it works. And again, that's what I do as well. So if you click over here for like my start page, I link to my category page. So click on internet business right there. And then I have topic/internet business, then the name, and then I just built this out and made it helpful for the end visitor. But this is a category page. Now you're like, well, why is yours called topics? I don't want mine to be called category. Well, you can change it. So it's easy to change. So you navigate down here to your settings, and then you click on permalinks right there. And then down here, you have the category base. So if you want your category base to be topics instead, or whatever you want, that's where you want to update this over here. So click on save changes. And so now I have the category vlogging gear. We'll hit enter. It should give me the 404 page because it doesn't exist anymore. And then back out of this, topics. There we go. So now it's topics. So simple, very easy to navigate that. And so that's something that you want to consider doing and updating. Build out your category pages to be just useful for the end visitor. But those are things you need to know about. Now with categories, you just want to have like 4 to like 7 categories max. You don't want to have like 20 categories unless you're building out a massive website with thousands of pages and you want your categories to be relevant to like what you're talking about, like thoughts, uncategorized, feelings, whatever, things like that. Those are bad category descriptions. If your site's about like vlogging, it should be like vlogging gear, travel, recording tips, things like that, things that make sense for the site. So like for me, like with my business blog over here, so I'm not just like talking about, I don't have uncategorized. I have internet business, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, inspiration, and so forth. Things that make sense for this business website. So you want to build out 4 to 6 categories, 4 to 7 categories max. And then you want to use tags sparingly as it makes sense for the site. So let's just open up a quick example. All right, I'll open up this best 12 domain name registers and let's navigate down here. And then this is powered by my tags. So let's explore more. So it's tag domain names. So domain names I write about, but I don't write about enough to like where it makes sense for it to be its own category. So this is just a tag page as it makes sense for the site. Anyways, that's what you need to know, generally speaking, for your on-page SEO, about updating your titles, your meta descriptions for both your blog posts and pages, setting your permalinks, setting up categories and tags for your site. installing Google Analytics for your website. So I'm going to walk you through my process of installing Google Analytics. I'm also going to give you the flexibility to swap Google Analytics out with another software option if you choose to, because Google Analytics is the most popular, but they are a little bit confusing. Anyways, you're going to have to just click over here to get started today, create an account, sign in with Gmail and so forth. Then your dashboard looks something like this. You're going to click over here for create. You can navigate down here to property and then the property details. So we'll just type in the name of the site so you know what it is when you're in your dashboard. Click over here for next. Then industry is required. So this is helpful because Google Analytics can give you data based on other analytical performance of other sites in the same industry. So you kind of know your performance. So this is kind of important. Anyways, I'm going to click on computers and electronics. And then we'll click on small, click on next, and understand web traffic. Yep. And then click on continue. There we go. And the data collection is from a website. So click on that and type in the URL of the website. There we go. And there we go. Just the name of the site. Click on create and continue. There we go. So click on next. Now it's loading. Okay, so you can install with WordPress or install manually. You think you'd install with WordPress? You can do that, but you need to install a different plugin called Sitekit. So if I click over here for next, it's going to come up with this, the Sitekit over here, and walk you through how to do this. So the Sitekit's all right because it's Google focused, but it's only for Google Analytics. Let me back out of this. I'm going to click over here to install manually. We're just going to click on this right here and copy this whole thing. Do it old school. So install manually. That's how I like to do it, because then you can swap it out with another software option if you want. And so this is how all software options work for analytical software. It's going to give you a bunch of code. You just copy and paste it. It's a script, nothing complicated. Let's jump back over to our website. So right now you can just put this in your header or footer. Now that's might be a little bit confusing. So one plugin I like to use is WP Code. There we go. So WP Code right there. Let's go ahead and install that. And click on activate. There we go. Great. Now I have code snippets down over here. So let's click on that. Code snippets opens up so you can just ignore all this. We want to navigate right here to header and footer. And then you have your header section and your body and your footer. So you can just copy and paste everything in. So if you read this over here, copy and paste your code on every page immediately after the header element. So all you have to do is navigate right here, copy, paste, and then click on save changes. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And then Google Analytics will start picking up data after a day or two. And it's really that simple. And finally, I just want to cover some additional plugins that you can add in for design purposes. Now, as you notice, let's jump into the front page. We click on this plus sign right there, and we have a bunch of different blocks that we can add in, media, patterns, and so forth. There are plugins that add in additional blocks and additional patterns. So if we navigate over here to plugins, click on add new plugin, then go ahead and type in something like stackable. For example, this is one of my favorites. And there we go. So we can go ahead and click on install right there and go ahead and click on activate. And we'll just click on skip over here. And now we have it activated on our sites. So let me back out of this and let me reload this. Yep, let's reload. There we go. Okay, so now let's open it up again and click the plus sign. And there we go. So now we have additional blocks up top here. Okay, so these are stackable blocks. They add in additional things like a countdown, design library, feature grid, expand more. So like the design library over here, open design library. Then you have different things over here, additional blocks like title for this section, wireframe Q&A. You have a card, call to action, just additional blocks that you can add in to your site. Now, you have another plugin that you could also check out that's already kind of pre-installed if you're using Bluehost is Jetpack. So again, just same process, click on add new plugin, type in Jetpack, but Jetpack comes with WordPress, so you should have it already pre-installed. Just go ahead and click on activate. Now, you will have to create an account And this is your WordPress account, but you can just create a free account to get access to Jetpack. Now, once you go through the process of just setting up Jetpack, which just requires you to create an account using your email, you're going to have access to Jetpack in the tab right there. And you're going to have My Jetpack, Stats, Activity Log, Search, etc. But Jetpack is also helpful because it adds in additional blocks as well. So we can reload this. So now as we scroll down, we're going to start noticing green blocks right here: AI Assistant, Jetpack AI Search, Markdown Language, Writing Prompt, Image Compare, Tilted Gallery Story, and so forth. So these are just additional design blocks that you can use for your website. Now, there's a wide range of plugins that do this, that add in additional block features. My whole goal with this section is just so you're aware that that is available. When you want to expand design and functionality for your site, you can add on additional plugins. But just one thing with plugins, less is more. You don't want to overdo it and have too many plugins installed. Making sure your site looks good on mobile. Now, by default, the 2025 theme looks great on a mobile device right out of the box. You really don't have to do too much. But with every single page that you create, you do just want to go ahead and check to make sure nothing's out of place. So how do you do that? You can click over here where it says the view, and right now it's on desktop. I want to switch over here to mobile. Now, the one thing we notice right there, the hamburger menu's underneath the logo. I don't like that. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. Then that moves the hamburger menu over there. Just little details like that. Otherwise, this looks quite nice. Offer section right there, right above the fold. Looks good. Nice spacing. Nothing weird. The padding's appropriate. So you just want to go through your site and make sure that everything looks okay. And if it doesn't, then you got to jump in and figure out why and how to adjust it. So for example, like this section right there, I just clicked on it and it formatted it correctly. So just little details like that. Then we have the copy underneath the image right there. So looks good. Footer down here, everything looks fine. 2-column design, really ideal. Social media links sitting at the bottom of the website. The copyright, really this theme is mobile ready. Just make sure to check little details like I just showed you at the top here with the hamburger menu being kind of pushed underneath the logo. Just go through it, your blog post pages, any type of page, just make sure everything looks nice on a mobile device. All right, everyone. So that is it for this website design. So we have a nice big offer section at the top right there. I showed you how to build out the homepage with different sections to link to different things with the goal to convert the end visitor to click on something specific, how to build out the footer, link to stuff as needed, like your legal pages, the secondary menu item in the footer right there. I showed you how to build out the blog page, how to custom design it so it's a little bit more fancy and useful for the end visitor than just showing your individual posts. I showed you how to custom design your individual post. So you have a nice offer section sitting at the top, single column design piece of content, or have an alternative design layout if you want to go that route, how to add in a contact page and secure the contact page, how to add in Google Analytics, and just overall how to design your website, how you should be thinking about the design process. Anyways, that is it for this tutorial.
All right, everyone, that's it for this tutorial video on how to create a website with the 2025 theme from WordPress. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, subscribe and hit that like button. My name is David. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.